found out that we were or are expecting. Saying the words feels really weird. To say that I'm pregnant feels really weird, but we are. And I'm officially 5 weeks and I think 4 days. Trying to put it up on my phone right now. Oh, 5 weeks and 5 days. Okay. I found out 10 days DPO purely because I'm impatient and I've just been testing and testing and testing, even when, you know, I really shouldn't be, but a girl just can't. So I just wanted to take you guys along that journey, talk to you through some of the symptoms that I've been having and how I'm navigating this first trimester. It feels so weird to say still, but let's talk with how I found out. So 10 days DPO, completely not having any symptoms at all. I just was curious, as I've been like for the past, I want to say 4 months really, that we've been trying, and I was just curious to see whether it caught on finally, because, you know, like I said before, I've just been testing crazy. And I came home after work, decided to test, took the test, saw the faintest of a line, and I was like, and while I didn't record my testing, like doing the actual test, I had to record immediately after because I realized that there was something there, and I was just taken aback because what? Thoroughly didn't have any expectations. I wasn't having any symptoms per se. I had the regular PMS symptoms, and I was just testing to test sake. And when I did that and I saw the faintest line at 10 days DPO, I was just like, alright, cool, this is really something, because every other month I saw absolutely nothing. There was no mistaking it. It was blank. It was blank beyond the test, or the control line rather, being there. There was nothing else there. There was no mistaking it. There was no line eyes. There was none of that. So it was really, really negative. And to see the faintest line meant a lot, and so that's where it began. And then I basically tested every day after that for quite some time. I do have my book with my line progression. It's not super consistent because I was testing like every day in that early period, and then I realized that I needed to not test as much, and I decided to test every 2 days or so, and then you will see that the progression basically, until it was very, very clear to us that this was it. This was the month that it caught on. This was the month that we received our miracle. Since then though, and I think that's kind of been like the last 2 weeks, just us navigating the shock and really leaning into believing that this is happening, because it still hasn't fully sunken in yet. We've just been navigating that. The symptoms I've felt, I would say, in like week 4 and 5 is that I've been tired, but I'm typically tired during PMS anyway, so it's kind of hard to say. But I've also been oddly energetic, so my energy flow has been different. Like I've been peaking in areas that I wouldn't normally peak in, and I've been pretty energetic but tired at the same time. It makes no sense. It's been really strange. I'm usually more so consistently tired, and now it's kind of like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I'll be cooking or washing up or like doing more things that I wouldn't normally do because I would normally be very, very tired. um, so the energy flow has been different. Symptoms, a key symptom that I can relegate to my new condition is the fact that I'm super, super gassy. That's not normally the case. Like, yes, I need a cup of tea to like set my body straight every single day, but for just anything, just like consistently throughout the day, I am gassy. And the gas comes out at the end that it doesn't usually come out of. So like I'm normally a burpee girl, like I will belch, right? A manly burp, but I no, it's it's really all the gas in the world, and that was definitely a sign that this is different, this is a shift. Right, so the next thing I noticed was that while in my typical PMS period, I would have breast tenderness, and leading up to when my period should have come, I didn't have that, so that was strange. And even up until even like the week after I missed it, or not week after, like the week of where my period should have been and it didn't come, I didn't have any breast tenderness, and that was weird. But I started to have it closer to week 5 and throughout week 5, and yeah, those were like, honestly, the pregnancy has been really interesting in the sense that I haven't had many symptoms, I haven't really felt anything, but yet it is still early days. So the only other major development is that I got my first UTI out of nowhere. Like, I was working out yesterday, and this is yesterday as in April 15, working out, doing my usual workout, and all of a sudden there was pain, and I was like, what? And that's where we are. I don't want to go into the details of it because it is probably too much information for the internet, but just bear in mind that that's a pretty common thing for women who are pregnant, and I've never really experienced one before, and this is the first time, and I'm like, I have no other symptoms, but here comes this. And that's about it so far. We're at week 5 weeks and 5 days, and I will catch you up when we get to week 6, and I will let you know how things progress, and fingers crossed that things keep or stay really, really simple and low-key, because no, I know how it can get. Oh yeah, I'm missing something. So another thing that I have is nausea, and it's kind of hard for me because I'm generally a pretty nauseous person, and so I wouldn't say that I have more nausea than I normally do, but this nausea it feels a little more overwhelming more often than not. But I haven't puked or anything, but I do definitely feel nauseous from time to time. And then now, that's where the symptoms for me, I can say, have stopped. I haven't really had anything too serious. Every time I say that, I remember something. I have been bloated, incredibly bloated, for this whole time. Yeah, but bloating for me is part and parcel with PMS, so that was pretty consistent with how I would usually feel. but this time the bloating and the gas and the nausea together making a killer trio, because why would we need all of that? And now I can wrap it up. I think that suffices for how far we've gotten. This is week 5 and 5 days. In a couple days we'll be 6 weeks. I'm not super exhausted, but I do get tired, and that's where we're at, and I will keep you posted on the weeks to come. Hey guys, present day Candy here, jumping in just to let you know that while I filmed this video ages ago, I know you would benefit from me just like catching you up on everything, because I didn't actually film week by week. So here we go. Alright, so I have my laptop here, and I'm just gonna go through what happened after week 5. So in week 6, I think I decided to travel, and then I was nauseous before, but I was way more nauseous now, and adding to that the fact that I was traveling. Whose idea was that? And I feel like at week 6 all the real symptoms started to kick in. I believe that was the first time I had a morning sickness kind of episode where I actually had to puke, and yeah, I was on medication, so it made it a little muddy for me as to whether like all the nausea was just because of that. But in retrospect, it was just because of the pregnancy. I was really nauseous. I didn't puke more than 3 times in the whole pregnancy, so I'm grateful for that, but the nausea was definitely a recurring factor. So week 7 was pretty much like week 6, but week 8 was when things got really interesting. So I started having cravings at this point, and I was just craving like fruits and healthy stuff, and then I started having this weird taste in my mouth. I know people describe it as metallic. I don't think it was metallic for me, but it definitely was very off-putting, and I just hated having that feeling. And at this point I couldn't enjoy room temperature water for some reason. Like room temp water, which is what I normally have, tasted like crap, and I could only have it like ice cold or really, really cool. And I think to this day, postpartum, like 2 months, almost 2 months postpartum, and I still enjoy the cool waters. I'll still drink room temp, but cold, ice cold water slaps right now. What else? So craving fruits, nausea was still around, and I was feeling slightly better, but not fully. That's how I put it here in my notes, but and I was hungry a lot at that point. So week 8, I have here that sleepiness was at an all-time high. I could sleep before. I was never a person that took like naps or whatever, but I could always sleep, you know. But here, week 8 is when we're like, yeah, in the day, like anytime, I was like really, really sleepy. I think this might have been one of those times when I had to sleep at work too. I remember that like a really funny moment there. And I was still experiencing the bad taste, and I was like peeing a lot too. So week 10 is when I started to feel some serious insomnia, or experience rather some serious insomnia. That time felt like it would not end. It was so scary because I could not sleep for more than a few minutes at a time, and to this day I can't explain what that was, but I was so happy when it was over, because I really couldn't function during the days, and it was really getting to me, and people were starting to see that I was not sleeping. And I was still hungry all the time. This is still week 10, and as you can imagine, I have here that my sleep quality wasn't good. It was atrocious. Let's leave it there. So week 11, insomnia continued. So like I said, it felt like it was going on forever. So it was from week 10 to week 11, maybe even week 12. That kept going, and I was hungry, still had a bad taste in my mouth, and food just didn't taste great overall, and that was really, really upsetting to me because I'm a foodie. I like to have food, and I didn't enjoy anything. I didn't have, outside of the cravings as I mentioned earlier, I didn't feel like I had true cravings, so I wasn't like craving food. I would want fruits or whatever, but that's about it. Week 13, I'm trying to speed through these because, you know, it's a lot of weeks, but bear with me. I hope this helps somebody, because I know that when it was my time, I was watching stuff like this because I wanted to know what to expect and how people combated certain issues. I can't tell you anything about insomnia though. I really just had to ride that wave out. Yeah. Week 13, I caught a cold. So imagine, I wasn't sleeping for weeks and I get sick. Probably the week that I started to feel better. Yes, yeah, I started to sleep a little better at this point, but it was still hard. And at this point, my clothes weren't fitting properly anymore. So, week 14, I was still recovering from the cold, and that too felt like it was taking forever. At this point, week 13, I told a lot of people, not a lot of people, that's so dramatic. I told a few people that were close to me that I was expecting, because it was starting to show, my clothes weren't fitting, and I couldn't avoid it for much longer. And we skip forward to week 18 where we found out baby boy's gender, which, like I just said, it's a boy. Week 20, wait, how many weeks are in the first trimester? I don't remember, but I'm gonna stop at week 20, or week 22. I'm gonna stop at week 22. So week 20, I started to have swollen ankles, and it was inconsistent, but it was there. My belly was definitely growing. I was craving milk and milky drinks from week 19, and then we had the anomaly scan coming up. That's not a symptom, but I just had that in there. And then week 21, week 22, I think this is a second trimester, so I want to stop here. But yeah, this was what my first trimester was like. It was not bad. I didn't have like really crazy morning sickness. I think overall my pregnancy was really, really good. Why didn't I turn my phone off to film this? But overall, I really had a good pregnancy. I had a few symptoms that made me uncomfortable, of course, but it wasn't that bad, and I'm grateful. And yeah, if you have any questions about the symptoms and what I did to combat any of them, just leave me a question down below and I will answer. And if you want to hear more about my experience, please let me know what exactly you would want to know. I'd be happy to film it and share with you guys. But until then, I'll see you in the next one.